So do y'all actually take being dry humped on the ground really seriously? Like, do y'all really take that as like a offense? Right? Is dry humping from killers the same as teabagging? Like when survivors are at the exit gate? Is that like the same thing as like, you know, I mean, in my opinion, it's not like survivors are standing over the killer and just like, you know, going up and down, bobbing up and down, you know, shaking over on top of them. But with killers, like they kind of like go back and forth because I honestly don't know when or where it started. But I think it's funny. I think it's a little bit funny. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think teabag is necessary either. Guys, this is episode 40 of the Survivor Side Story podcast. Had a little couple drinks. I just said, you know, let me just try to do an episode today and see what's popping, right? If you guys like this audio, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. My thumbnails might be a little bit different because I really think that, you know, I'm trying to do the best I can to get these out because I think people like listening to these. So if you're, you know, busy, you know, you're driving, you're working, you're grinding, just listen to these, all right? You don't have to pay attention to this. It's not a video. But I do think that obviously, you know, even if it wasn't dry humping, it was the nopers. Like killers still do the nopers. They do like, you know, left, right nopers and stuff like that just to, you know, say, no, I'll play you at a pallet, or no, you're not, but I downed you with no ed or whatever. It's not the same as I think teabagging. But I think teabagging for killer is, if you're going to teabag me, I'm going to go back and forth over your body that's on the ground. And mind you, I'm dry humping the backside of you. Right. And I think that's pretty interesting to like make a point. People just seem to come up with these things. And I think that it's meant to obviously BM, to demean. And there are women who play this game. So it's not like the killer knows like which gender is playing a certain killer or survivor. Maybe the name could give it away and be like, hey, this is, you know, so-and-so. You know, girls' characters, a lot of girls play Sable and stuff like that. So I honestly don't know, right? But I think that we take it too seriously. Like, who cares if they dry humping you? Listen, don't slug me. I read a post on Reddit. This girl was complaining about being slugged and, you know, she just didn't like it. She said, I'd rather be slugged. No, you can listen, pause when I say this, right? Like, you already know what I mean. Like, you know, pause. You can dry hump me all day on the ground. Just don't slug me, okay? Because I need to hurt me. I got things to do, all right? And if I'm not doing nothing, I got things to do. But it's not that deep, bro. Killers are gonna do it. Survivors, they teabag. Listen, I give nopers when I'm at a pallet and I stun a killer. I give a noper, or sometimes like I'll like raise my head up and like keep it there. That's what I do. I think it's funny, but it's not meant to take that seriously. And I think that the thing is that, you know, as adults who play this game, we take a lot of things very seriously. Like if a killer hit me on hook, a lot of times I probably likely looped them for a while, and they finally got upset when they finally caught me, and they just want to, you know, give me a tap to be like, shut up. You know what I mean? There's time a killer are also nice and will give me hatch because they realized I was like the best survivor in chase, you know, and hey, you know, your teammates didn't really help you all that much, so they'll give me, you know, the door or hatch. I just don't think that. I think people are just very sensitive. I'm so tired of this sensitive society in general, especially in the DBD culture. It's such a sensitive thing. Like, we're just so sensitive, bro. And the thing is, I realized coming from like NBA 2K, sports games, you know, where there's like PvP, in-game chat banter, you can actually hear the person. You know, we always trash talk. In this community, bro, you can't even make a looping video without somebody getting their feelings. Especially killers. Like, and I'm gonna say killer, and the reason I'm gonna talk about killers is because here's the thing. With Survivor, I understand that a lot of them are just very egotistical. You can't tell them jack shit. Okay, like you can't tell them anything. Like survivors are, every survivor damn near these days think that they're just like the GOAT of all survivors. Like they all should be comp, all that stuff, right? And then like with killer, they act like they just do nothing wrong. They gaslight you. They act like, oh, everything is, you know, coming from your end as to why they're doing what they're doing. But it's really them just being angry, and like you see it on both angles. Like I watch a lot of survivors, you know, salt rage, but it's something about killer in this game. When they get upset and they get mad, brother, sister, of the DBD community, I tell you, there's nothing like killers when they get mad. There's nothing like killers when they get upset. like and it's some of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. But I just think that we just take so many things very seriously, especially in a game that's like very asymmetrical. I think survivors are very salty because they can't stand certain killers the way they're designed. Like me, I get salty, I get upset, I get, very, irritated dealing with certain killers like a xenomorph that is literally designed to hit you regardless. Like literally, like you have to be new to that killer or just ass to miss that many times, and especially at a window or a down pallet as xenomorph. You have to be new. I'm gonna give you grace if you're new, but if you are a veteran player or you play with other killers and you understand how survivors try to use FOV text to try to throw you off, and you still fall for that after like a certain amount of hours, then you're just ass. I'm sorry, like what do you want me to call you? You're just ass, right? That's just literally how it is. And I just think that we get upset, we take these things too seriously, but there are just some justifications. Like I said, this is an asymmetrical game. I've never played a game like DBD before. Like I've never played a game where it's just like okay, one side is automatically fast. Like I played games where like there were like, stronger opponents, like stronger teams. Certain basketball teams had better players. But it was still 5-on-5, you know what I mean? Versus just 4 against 1. So then that one has to have the ability to be able to defeat all 4 by themselves. But then, we're trying to work together as teammates. Like today, right? I'll give you an example. And I'm gonna start I want to like kind of just freestyle a bit, if you don't mind. Like I'm not reading off a script or anything like that. My producers didn't give me a script today, which is me. I'm the producer, so I do everything. But my producers didn't give me anything, right? So they fired. But like, it was, I don't know what the guy named, I don't know. Like, like the brother and sister survivors, I don't know their name. Yeah, that one chick, that one chick, she thick, whatever, she got a brother, whatever. So, I'm talking about those brother and sister survivors. So, we're in area crawl, I got my Nia, right? I got the main squeeze. So, we playing in, area chrome. And I hear a xenomorph, right? And you gotta understand, I don't have bond. Bond is not a meta perk. Not a lot of people run it. And I usually like to use a key to see where the survivors are. I could use the key in the always track killer. Like you could use blood amber and the prayer beads to see where, and have a key. Every key is different. Every key is like, the red iridescent key, I think have like 30 seconds of use. Green key is like 10, like the broken one, has like 10 seconds of use. And I think the purple one might have like 8 seconds. Don't quote me. But I like to use the green add-on with the prayer beads. The green add-on or the yellow one lets you see where the survivors are. The reason why that's important is because I can run my normal 4 perks, my build, my lightweight, my quick and quiet, my windows, and my iron will. I think that you should check out the latest video though, so you can see why that build is very goated. Even if you don't use windows and you're confident in your survivor, your solo queue survivor matches where you have to rely on teammates not pre-dropping every single pallet, and by the time the killer chases you, it is your turn to try to run into a dead zone. But I think that you should definitely check out that video because it's a very good build. I was going against the spirit. P100 spirit who was using mother-daughter ring. I was just making them miss every single time. It was insane. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because while I can run my normal build, I like to use the key and use the add-on so that way I can see where the survivors are and I can kind of track them and see where they at and stuff like that. So that way I'm not just like running into like a dead zone. I'm not running into like a survivor with their own gens, or I'm not, that they're running into me. I can see where the chase is because there's nothing worse. One of the most frustrating things I would tell you in this community is me being slugged, bled out, and having running into a survivor, or they're running into me and then the killer chases me. Those are like my 3 things that bothers me the most in this community outside of killers just being the way they are. But the reason I brought the brother and sister survivors because the brother, I forgot his name, and I don't care to know his name. It was in the area of Crow, and Xenomorph was chasing him. I'm in Maine, so I'm trying to do a gen and trying to get that done. We should always attack Maine. The most 3 gens are likely in Maine. and he ran into me, and I was body blocking him by mistake because I didn't know. I had the heartbeat going, but I didn't know which way he was coming. Pause. So I didn't know, like, if he was behind, pause, or if he was I'm sorry, anything that sounds sus, y'all, I'm gonna say pause. Like, it's just what it is. I have to say it. I'm so used to saying anything that sounds sus, like he came from behind, pause. I know it might be childish, but you just gotta say it. But he ended up I body blocked him. He was already injured, and then he kept trying to move past me, but I didn't know where he was at. I couldn't see him. I didn't have my key. I didn't have that. And then he ended up going down. He ended up DCing, which is understandable because I would do the same thing. But we're in solo queue, y'all. We're in solo queue. You don't have comms. I can't be. See, killers like to act as if, like, every game they go against survivors or they play. They like to act like every squad is a Swift that have the most call out, sweatiest type of communication, and that's just simply not true, dude. That's just simply not true. Because if I would have known which way he was coming through, I'd have been like, okay, let me move out your way. Let me try to take a hit because I was healthy. I haven't been hooked yet. We don't have that. And I think a lot of times killers be knowing this. Killers understand this, but they do this thing where they just try to and listen, it is killer versus 4 survivors all the time. So I'm not going to act as if that's never a possibility of that being a thing where they a lot of times go against a Swift lobby that's very sweaty. But I just don't like that. Like, bro, solo queue is a damn nightmare. We know this. We know it's a nightmare. We understand how frustrating it is. But no. We always have to make it seem as if it's always something. Like, oh, no, you guys know. Like killers. A lot of times y'all just lose y'all game because y'all just play poorly. Maybe you have a killer, you just don't understand how to play. Maybe, you didn't prioritize your like, I'm telling killer how to play killer. But I also realize in this community, we hear what we want to hear and we see what we want to see, and that's just how that is. For example, let me just kind of bring up one of the videos I was talking about. I'm going to bring up a video about us being slugged, right? Remember I said earlier I just don't like being slugged because though I understand, I've said this before too, but yet I notice in this community, people just, like, they'll read or they'll hear something and then they'll just take from it what they want and then they'll just turn it into whatever. I understand that killers usually slug to try to change, the pressure from survivor to killer. A lot of times survivors are trying to pressure, gen rush using brand new parts, prove that, etc. I understand the whole thing. You gotta understand, survivors are trying to win the game too, so it's not just simply you. But also killers have a job to do as well. So if, let's say, 3 gens are popped from main, right? It's 7 generators. You always want to work from the middle on out. You don't want to work from the out to the middle because at the end, the killer can just camp those 3 or 2 gens versus, if you did the middle ones, if you were able to get through it, then the killer would have to go out to the middle of the map and try to contest the 4. But if survivors are knocking out gens right away, understandably, that a killer is like, okay, let me try to slug them. Let me try to get them all off of gens. Let me try to hope for some altruistic plays so that we can try to, get another down, which usually works in killer's favor. Let's try to, camp. Well, maybe if there's 1 gen left, hey, I gotta try to get a kill, man. I gotta try to feed my family. I gotta do something out here. So let me try to go ahead and get a kill. So I'm gonna stand in front of the hook, and maybe guess what? I'm securing a kill. I can also possibly get people off the gen trying to be a hero type shit, and then let me go and do that. Very understandable. So both sides are trying to win. Both sides are trying to counter each other. Survivor who's being camped on the hook, or the survivor is trying to get them, off the hook, whatever. They don't like it, but killers also is like, hey, damn, like the game's already over with. I don't like, but I am clearly saying something. Even though I'm a survivor main, I don't like that because I'm a survivor main, you hear what you want to hear. That's bad faith arguing. That's bad faith because it's being disingenuous. Like, I am literally saying, I get it. Like, I don't even play killer, but I understand that killer has a role, and they have, like, the entity is not finna play with them. Like, you gotta get it killed. Like, you're not pleasing the entity, so somebody gotta die. The game is called Dead by Daylight. These are things I understand. My biggest issue is that, like, I just think that killers can't say anything. Like, we can't say, not killers, survivors can't say anything unless we are a killer main. And even then, I listen to people all the time being told straight up, oh, you must be, whenever it's a killer that's, arguing on behalf of survivor, oh, you're like a killer, a survivor man in sheep's clothing. So it's like you already have this mentality in this community where it's just like you hear what you want to hear. Anybody who watches me, I've said this, anybody who watches me, who listens to me, they know I'm both sides of accountability. If we lose our game because we got survivors that's off gens and they're not doing generators and they constantly trying to go for saves, I'm not going to blame the killer for them trying to do what they trying to do. The killer are the ops. The killers are the ops to survivors. Survivors are the ops to killer. Neither side is supposed to make it easier for either one. Y'all do understand that, right? See, we're not devs. The devs can make it easier, literally, which they have done for killer. They can make it easier on either side. It's not the same for like survivor. Like, it's called, like, they want to raise. It's called Dead by Daylight. They want to raise the kill rates. So like I said, but the reason I brought the whole thing slugging up, and I know I go off on like a long tangent, is because I have a video. You should also take that as well too. It's called being slugged out for the entire game for no reason. There was a ghost face who decided to bring knockout. For those who are not familiar with knockout, knockout is, I'm just going to give you like a brief. I'm not going to give you the whole description. Just understand that knockout makes it where when a killer hits you, you pretty much can't see. You're in this dazed type of state of mind where, your hearing is really hard to hear, especially when you're on the ground, and then you can't see where the survivors are or whatever. At least I think you can't see the survivor. I know they can't see you. It's weird. Because once you are knocked out, like the goal of knockout from killer is to make it where everybody's like disoriented. It's hard to see where somebody's on the hook. It's hard to see. It's just hard. The visual, you need visual for survivors. You need visual for killer. And they make it hard. Pause. But the reason why it's like that is because a lot of times killers try to slug and try to bleed out. To make a long story short, we were in the RPD map, and literally this ghost face, his whole or her, not just him, because we all think it's just a guy, it could have been him or her, literal mission was just to bleed us out. Like, you can literally check out the video. It's one of my, it's like if you're not subbed or whatever, you can go straight to it. You'll be able to see the video. Literally whole mission was just to bleed survivors out. Had all the hooks near him. It was in Maine. Like, it was in the main area of the building. Literally, he just said, I'm just not finna hook you. And see, y'all get mad about like this new surrender option thing, which I understand that maybe there's like new ways that they should have, like, if you give good constructive criticism, maybe the devs will try to find a way to work it through. But we need to have the option. We need to. Like, I am not mad at that option. I'm still going to be irritated if I can't just leave, if the game is clearly over with, bro. Everybody's second stage. It's 4 generators up still. We got survivors not on gens. Like, if the game is done with, bro, I should be able to go next. I'm sorry. Like, I got so many survivors trying to try hard and trying to actually, but the game is over with. But anyway, we're on RPD, and the Ghostface just didn't want to hook either one of us, like, at all. So my point is just like, I'm reading the comments, and I got people literally telling me. I mean, here, I can even go, because while I got the time, I don't mind while I got the time. I don't mind while I got the time. Okay. I'm actually gonna go to the very first one. The guy said, he said, I don't know the story behind your health, but if you need to meditate because of a game, then you should take a long break. See, that didn't even make sense. I meditate anyway. I meditate to deal with life. DBD is a part of my life because I play the game and I make content from it. But I meditate before any of that. Like, I don't meditate because of DBD. So I had to respond to that. I literally just said, no, that's not why I meditate. Like, it's a way of life. You know, you want to be healthy minded before you deal with stuff. It just helps you deal with stress better. Like, I don't know, being slugged out in the game just to be slugged. But I meditate regardless. One guy says slug is only counter to second chance perks. And he put a shoulder shrug emoji. Surrender should give killers extra BP for bump survivors. And I just simply, I don't know if hold on. Hold on. Yeah, so and anytime I read that, I'm always going. I'm only. So he said it's slug is only counter to second chance perks. So here's the thing. I like how they bring up second chance perks. Let me go ahead and talk about these second chance perks real fast. So let's talk about DS. Can we talk about decisive strike? I'm in my room asking just like nobody, so I'm just gonna assume that that's a yes. All right, so what's so good about decisive strike? I mean, it gives you a chance, right? It does. It gives you a chance during the game. But if a killer literally just said, "I want you to die," there's nothing you can do about it. Does that make sense? Like, I want killers to remember, and killers know that. I don't even have to say it as if y'all don't understand this. If killers just decided to say, "I want you to die and I want nobody else to, and everybody else can escape, but you're going to die, buddy," or "chick, you're going to die," what can you really do about it? Decisive strike no longer works in game. So what, again, what are you doing about that? Nothing, right? So when killers like to say it's a second chance perk, including off the record OTR, you can't do anything about that either in game, right? But here's the thing. With in-game, you know, the point of being able to use, like, you know, trying to get the gens done is, you know, maybe there's like adrenaline you're trying to use, but you're trying to escape. A killer literally can just say, okay, you know what, that perk becomes useless in-game, then you can't do anything about that, so then that's just pretty much it. You're done. Like, it's over with. So I don't get why killers do this thing where they talk about second chance perks or counter to end game. Well, even with Unbreakable. Unbreakable works one time. One time. Not every time you get slugged. So let me just put you on the hook. It worked one time. Soul Guard. I mean, I guess you needed to have a killer have to have a perk up. So you're betting that a killer has a perk up, a hex perk, which a lot of times they do. Plaything is popular and stuff like that, so it's a good perk to try to use so you don't get slugged out and stuff like that. That will force the killer to say, you know, we gotta put you on the hook. But I like how they just act like these perks, like, you know, these hex, you know, these boons that you can get up, as if it's just like completely unlimited. It's really not. I mean, that might be like the only thing, like, you know, getting up with the hex, with the a boon, a breaker boon, I guess what we'll call it. That's the only thing I can think of that kind of like unlimited. Because there's always, I mean, unless you break all the totems, and you just gotta hope that people aren't just like doing all the totems and stuff. Because then if they do all 5 totems, there's no totems left. You know, if you break a totem, the killer has that one perk that you can bring them back. You know, the totems and stuff like that. That's different. But most of the time, the second chance perks is not like unlimited. That's why I just want to make sure. And if killers want to give extra BPs for that, because if you quit, that's fine. I don't care. I just don't, like, the point of it is I just don't want to wait all game. Like, does that make sense? I just don't want to wait all game. I don't care about the dry hump. I just don't want to wait all game. But you got killers who know they just want to bleed you out to prove a point. And I don't know why we act like we don't get that. Okay, this guy says surrender option is just another way to go next. If you can't give up on the hook, you just surrender as soon as you can, which makes Unbreakable and many other second chance perks. There are many things that annoy me in this game, but just have to deal with. Calling out someone does not fix this. I've tried. You already told us in the last video that you play survivor only. Also, if I slug one guy after I kill 2 people with 3 stages each, by the way, just to not lose my 4K. I earned this game to a random hatch. They always get mad and toxic over it. So why am I? I'm sorry. He says, what, I am just never supposed to get a 4K. I play both sides, and people are terrible in both in the game in mentality. I really don't give a F if I get slugged or even a 4K slugged to death. If you play one side, you will only see. See, that's what I'm saying. Again, I literally said, and granted, he's not wrong. I said I played mostly one side, but this is not a subscriber. This is not. The thing about it is, in this community that I've realized is that, again, a lot of times it's just bad faith. Listen, I would love to talk to people and have this arguing in this community in good faith, like a debate, a real debate, not something that's like, we're just talking trash and we're just saying stuff back and forth. I would love to have an actual debate. The issue I have is that, like, again, I've played one side. I understand. But I've played killer enough to understand both sides. I understand why killers have to slug. It's not like I'm saying killers should never slug at all. Or if killers can never find a hook because maybe they got boiled over, that means killers can never bleed somebody out. It's a mechanic in the game. My issue is that a lot of the times, killers try to wait out a long, drawn-out match just for a 4K. And you know that if it's two survivors likely in the match and I'm on the ground, you know that last survivor is trying to hide all game long. Like, why do we act like that's not a thing? Like, we know that's a thing, bro. It's just very annoying to deal with. Oh, because I just play one side. Like I said, you hear what you want to hear, bro. I've already said I understand why. And guess what? Blame the dead. And the thing is, I'm glad they're doing something about it because, again, killers will continue to try to justify why they play the way they play. I don't want to draw out a game, even if it was a survivor. Hell, you know how they talk about, like, oh, you guys just stay and wait at the exit gate all game, and you guys just do that. Listen. For me, at least, it's like, at least I know I can leave exit game, or you can just kill me at the exit game. You can bring me back in, depending on the killer. Like, you probably rope me back in if you're a death slinger, right? But when you got a killer that's just like, it takes 4 minutes to bleed out, and a killer is deliberately saying, "I'm not about to hook you," you can't put that on survivors. Like, you just can't. It's not possible. You can't put that on survivors. Okay, let me just read somebody else. My boy Midas. He said, shout out to Midas. He's a Prestige 60 cat. If you guys want to become a member, you want to get these episodes early, definitely become a member for $4.99 a month. You get exclusive cat badges to become a Prestige 100 cat. You get emojis. I'm gonna try to add some more emojis. You get all that stuff, so definitely check it out. And you'll be the first one to get these videos before anybody else. My boy Midas said, this is why the game needs to go the smite route, which I've never heard of. Have the survivors take a vote. Box automatically count as a yes. If majority says yes, the game is forfeited. The best way to counter this is to take away a killer's, mind you, I'm just reading off how he worded it or something like that. He said the best way to counter this is to take away a killer's enjoyment. Unfortunately, the devs play too much of a priority on one side, having fun, in my opinion. That or survivors that gives survivors the ability to get up on their own. And then I think somebody responded, why would you give survivors the ability to get up after a certain amount of time? That wouldn't be fair. The killer wouldn't get a reward for downing you. You bleed out a little bit, but your team would just sit on gens. Making slugging a punishment, the killer's unbreakable only works as a one-time use for a reason. You can mention no matter, but you stay broken for a reason. The price you pay to be able to get up every time you are slugged is that you can't heal because, believe it or not, slugging is completely fair. You get to get picked up or more times than you would get hooked, it's not the killer's fault if you go back down again fast or your teammates, or you can't get you fast. The surrender option being introduced are perfect. Killers can still slug to win, but can't leave 4 slugs to bleed out and greed because you can surrender if everyone's slug. But here's the thing about that too. So now the thing with the devs is that they've made it where if you're in the dying state, maybe they'll change it. But like if you're in the dying state, they would count that as like, okay, the game's over with, you can leave. You know what I mean? See, here's the thing. I'm not against slugging people. I'm not against the idea of slugging and, you know, people trying to, killers trying to pressure and win the game. I'm not against it. The issue I have is that you have killers who are trying to bleed out. They have like that Ghostface for instance. Ghostface had the opportunity to put us on the hook. I'm literally watching him not pick up the Steve on purpose. It was the Steve that he bled out at the end. We've all died at this point, and it's like, you know, he literally could have just did that, put him on the hook, but Steve kept trying to crawl to him, but he kept backing away, teabagging. He brought a whole perk. He brought a whole build to do it. So I just want killers to understand this before I close, because I'm not gonna make this an hour. I want killers to understand this. Y'all gotta blame the killers that want to be a dick, man. Like, stop doing this thing where y'all acting like y'all don't understand our side of it. Stop. This is the like stuff I'm talking about. Like, we act like we don't get why survivors are complaining about this, and because we are survivors, you're not gonna hear it. Just like there are survivors who don't want to hear nothing from the killer side. No one is listening to either side. You have killers who are, first, I just don't like. I will admit I don't like the slugging. But it's like, it is what it is. It's the bleeding out for me. And you know what? I'll go a step further. It's also the slugging for the 4K. Because these matches can go out drawn so long. Just for you, and mind you, you win at 3K. But am I not supposed to ever get a 4K? It's like, bro, I just don't want to wait on it, bro. Like, it's just taking too long. You know that last survivor is always going to hide, and you're not going to stop until you find that survivor, and then I got to sit here and wait, or you're going to get a benefit. You're going to get a penalty. That's what y'all do. And I'm supposed to just sit there and just get through it. That's not what it, like what I'm trying to do. No one's trying to do that. Only killers who wants to do that to be greed, because you guys win you're not losing. You tie at a 2K. You only lose if you get a 1K or less, and you win at least a 3K or more. We know this, but for some reason we just act like we don't understand it. Cool. At the end of the day, I'm glad they're doing something about it. It took them years, but they're doing something about it, and that's what we need. That's all that we need, is to do something about it. So in closing, I was talking about the whole dry humping thing, though I don't think that's a big deal in my opinion. But it's the slugging. I don't like the slug. You can tunnel, you can camp. It's corny to do either or, but when it comes to slugging, it's just like, yo, I just cannot. Like, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna give a perk slot. I'm just not gonna do it. So, but you listen, y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know if y'all think is it a good idea for the devs to change this? Should survivors just get good? I'm pretty sure people are gonna be saying that for those who are listening. But other than that, yeah, just listen to these, man. These are just like discussions. I don't mind. I think these discussions are, healthy to have. It's fun to talk about. I just don't like when people get in their feelings. Y'all get too much in y'all feelings. Like, most of us aren't making money. I make some money from here because I do content. So I pay some bills with my YouTube channel from DBD. But for the most part, most of us aren't making money, bro. It's no need. Even me, I'm not going to be getting that passionate. Like, bro, relax. Like, keep it civil. Have no issue. People commenting. But people just are how they are. It is what it is. So my thoughts is that I'm glad that they're doing something with the quality of life. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's not a sweatfest game. You got to be able to play. You got to have survivors who want to play survivor, but you also got to have killer who wants to play killer. So it can't just be like a lopsided on either or. You have to want to play the game and have fun. But hey, I'm going to go ahead and just get ready to start trying to upload this. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Stay safe, And like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. How do you guys experience Killer or Survivor? Are you for the slugging for the 4K? Do you think they should do anything about the go next, surrender option? And at Survivor, how often do you get BM by Killer or dry humped or whatever? Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? You let me know down below. And if nothing else, have a good day, bruh. Peace.